Ladies and gentlemen, it is your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Hickenbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevrolet, Piedmont Propane Services, Pick'em Show. Welcome to the studios, Coach Bobby McAllister, Chuck Riley, Marvin Denny, and your voice of the Blue Devils, Mr. Stuart York. I am your host, the Tony Schiavone of the Pick'em Show. Stan, whoop, the man. Holla, what?
What?
And we are glad for you to join us on this Friday night. And what a Friday night it is. It's one of those Fridays to me that have felt like Monday all day. I'm serious.
I agree 100%.
I'm serious.
Where did the week go?
They are just flying by.
It
You
flies by.
You wake up on a Monday, and by golly, all of a sudden it's Friday, and that's where we are.
I've been playing golf all week in South Georgia.
I tell you, I want to know if anyone missed us last week since we didn't have the Pick'em Show.
I'm
I know
sure
I missed being
I'm
here.
Sure they did.
I got phone calls
Chuck.
all Friday night.
Chuck, several people told me they didn't realize it wasn't on.
Look, we got phone calls Friday.
You know,
Saturday.
Marvin, some of your contacts
I have
are being negative toward us.
They really have critiqued us pretty good this past week, y'all.
Well, boy, they don't have anything else to do.
I was on the road Friday, and my phone would start ringing at Pick'em Show time, on into pregame. Where's the football game? On into 8 o'clock, where other programming got mixed match. It was a tough Friday night, and I was driving during that whole
Hey,
whole thing.
you know one thing that I miss from the really old days? Do you remember when Coca-Cola would make the posters that all the stores had of the football
the schedule.
Yeah.
That would be in
Yeah.
every window
Yeah.
and store?
Wow.
And so everybody would know when the Blue Devils was playing or any
That's
team
right.
That's
on
good
that.
stuff, Bob.
Broughton, make
I
me a
remember
note that
Sure.
next season the WSGC wants to do a calendar with the football schedule on it. All fall sports.
Do you know people
Yeah.
ask about Stan? We had a schedule come out of here, and several people came by the store and asked about that. It's been several years ago. So it's not a
I
bad
think that
idea.
is awesome. Hey, something I learned about, and this is a guy that I went to school with, has created an app. And tonight during the game, folks, if you follow Elbert County Sports, you will love this app because he'll keep up with stats. And then you can listen in to your phone app on WSGC Radio to hear Stuart and Marvin bring you all the action of the game. But also this app, it's called FutureAllStars.org. Look it up, download it, and you can keep up with the stats of the game, see, throughout the game, all the players, their stats, and it's a pretty cool little feature that's out there.
Would be nice to get some accurate versions of those stats too, as well as the guy that
What do you do?
is looking up and down.
Yeah, but
hey,
you
this
do great.
this may open up a different avenue for the broadcast right here at some point.
Marvin, you
I'm
need
hoping.
an iPad with this on it.
No, I just
And
need
you
to
can
I
compare
just
it.
need to watch the football
that,
game.
Listen, Marvin does a great job.
He does
because
wonderful.
I had to do that
Awesome.
one time, and that's not easy.
It's a
Because you try to commentate and keep up with first downs and all this kind of stuff, and passing yardage and fumble yardage, and
What was it, 2 weeks ago, or that Marvin, you were trying to come up with the stats at halftime and couldn't see? It was dark.
It was dark, and we've had a lot of things happen through the years.
but
But
that's
those
a,
are good people.
that's a difficult job. But anyway, would you
Let's-
like to know how we
yes,
stand?
I want to know.
The leader in the clubhouse is still
Marvin.
Marvin Denny. He was 8-2 on our last show, and he's 23-5. Stewart and Chuck are tied. They were 8-2 also. They're tied at 21-7, and I am 3 games behind Marvin, but I'm only 1 game behind the voice of the Blue Devils and Chucker T.
It was,
And-
that, it was that Cincinnati pick that got you, Coach.
20-8 overall. But we got some good games that can separate us or put us together this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so the order would be Marvin.
It's going to be
Chuck.
Marvin, Stewart, Chuck, and then me.
Okay. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the first quarter with high school sports. Oconee at Burke County.
Now, I have to put a disclaimer in here because the computer's been down all week, so I have not been able to do what I normally do. So you guys that bet with me, forget that. You already lost money already this season, so I wouldn't bet on this week. Oconee and Burke. Burke's good. Burke's got a good football team, but Oconee, I got another team coming up that I can say the exact same thing about. Oconee's played a really tough schedule and has been in those games. Burke not so much. I'm going to go with Oconee and their defense in this game to win again.
Yeah, Oconee beat Jefferson. And that's all I got to say about that, Oconee County.
Chuck?
That's what I'm thinking, the same thing. I looked at the schedule to see what the records are, but then it came down to last week's game with Oconee beating Jefferson. What was it, 9-7? So they've got a defense for sure. So Oconee as well.
Coach, wasn't that old school 9-7? You played a few of them through your career.
Wow, yeah, that's unbelievable in this day and age.
And Oconee held Sammy Brown to like 50 yards. So
that in itself
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah. Now, though, let's go back to Burke County schedule. They opened the season with a very good Thompson football team and beat them at the Brickyard. So Burke County is difficult down there between the nuclear plants. I can tell you that.
The nuclearized.
Nuclearized, but I'm not going to jump on Eric Parker's group right now. I think you're right about the defense. Oconee County in a squeaker again.
All right. Hey, White County is at Stevens County.
Just go watch the Stevens Raven film, Stevens County.
Stuart York.
Stevens is a little better than, well, maybe as we thought they were going to be, but they didn't really show it in scrimmage, but they're showing it now. So the Indians from Toccoa.
At the reservation.
At the reservation.
Well, I'm going to take Stevens from East Denali.
You going back to the Kudzu Bowl.
I've been up.
There's not many people listening to this that remembers playing in the Kudzu Bowl, but I do.
We just went by there the other day. We went up to
Yep.
Clayton and got some vegetables up there, but went through the
Vegetables.
But yes, Stevens County.
All right.
The Kudzu.
They got a
right there.
defense too if they held Raven County to.
Right there in
Do
East
you-
Denali, where the Kudzu Hill is. I kind of went off in that sucker one time.
That wasn't your
That was
first.
your old stomping grounds up there, wasn't it? Yeah.
Are you saying he spent more time in there than just once?
Mm.
This
No comment.
this is a little bit of a rivalry with
Yeah.
Stevens and White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White's not going to play with them. Stevens County.
All right. And Lincoln County will be at Commerce.
This is
Oh,
good.
boy.
Good old football.
Oh,
right here.
boy.
Good old football. No question. Two legendary teams. History. And looking at this one, this is a tough one. But this game is at Commerce. There's one little check, small. But I'm gonna go back to the Oconee Burke game. If you see who Commerce has played this year, and they've lost a couple games close to good football teams. I'm going with Commerce. I think Commerce has definitely played the better schedule at home, and Commerce.
Yep, me too. Lincoln just hadn't quite gotten back to the Lincoln of old. Could be a fourth quarter deal for sure.
Marvin, I'd echo your thoughts 100% because for the same reasons I'm taking Commerce. They won the first game of the season against Southside Christian over in South Carolina that had the unbelievable record going into that game, and they just lost to Murphy, North Carolina by 1 point. So I'm going with Commerce as well, home team.
This used to be like a quarterfinal
Yep.
game back
Yep.
in the day when they
Call.
were in different regions, and it was always a bloodletting. It really was. Whoever the home team. I want to pick an upset here, but I just can't do it. I just cannot make myself pull an upset. I think Lincoln's going to play them hard, but I'm gonna stick with the Tigers.
Bob, I was watching a little of that film, and I when I saw it, I thought, now I'm going to tell Coach about this. And the game, one of the films that I saw them, Commerce was in the I formation, running the option, the old school run with a fake to the fullback, quarterback comes out and run out. It just looks so different for Commerce to be doing that. But you know, the coach they've had there for a couple of years, really good football coach. But I just thought it was funny not to see them in the triple option. Now I'm sure they still got that, but boy, they sure lined up in that eye and they played real well out of it.
They wouldn't run the option out of the eye?
They were running the option out of the eye, but they were throwing it a little bit out of there and a lot of misdirection.
His son must be the quarterback.
Man.
And his wife said, "You better let him throw it."
Johnny needs to catch one.
If he was smart, he'd get in that eye then.
Wow. Hey, that wraps up the first quarter of your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Higginbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevrolet, and Piedmont Propane Services Pick'em Show. Stay tuned. We're coming back for your second quarter with more high school picks right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your second quarter of your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Higginbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevy, Piedmont Propane Service, Pick'em Show. As we kick off that second quarter, what a life lesson football can teach you. Seriously.
That was a weather delay.
Seriously, that was a weather. They don't know our commercial break, but we had a weather delay in commercial break.
Ought to be good Friday night, tonight.
I tell you what, Coach, football is really a true life lessons learned on a football field in many ways. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Of course.
It really, no matter how tough it gets, you keep going. You always keep your eyes straight on the goal.
Right.
I mean, there's just many, many life
and
lessons.
Not everybody wins and gets a trophy.
Come on.
There's a winner and a loser.
Yep.
Although, with the way things are happening in our country now, I'm going to go back to my coaching career and declare that all the games that I lost was fixed and rigged, and I absolutely never lost a game.
Hey,
they were all rigged.
If you lose, get a participation trophy.
It was a fake.
It was a fake. It was fixed.
Wow.
That once again goes into the files as one of the classic Pick'em Show comments. That goes right in with the monkeys and everything else.
My goodness.
Isn't that right? And the goats.
And the goats.
Alpine buck goat. Good for breeding. And let's kick off our second quarter with our winner and participation trophy. Who will it be? Rabun County at Heard County.
Rabun County.
Yeah.
How's Rabun doing?
Rabun.
They do it.
Taking names.
They do it.
They taking names.
They're behind us in the region
Okay.
because they begin with R. We begin with E.
Oh, yes.
I know Texas A&M spent $28 million on their recruiting. I don't know if there was the budget or anything. I don't know any of that. But I'm just saying, Texas A&M spent $28 million on recruiting.
Wow.
Rabun.
Chuck?
Oh, me. Rabun.
Yeah.
Coach?
Yep. The
Rabun.
boys from Tiger.
All right. And Athens Christian at Providence Christian.
We'll be a different team, place we hadn't been before when we go there this year, Stu. That's a new team on the block, and from what I can get out of it, I'm going with Athens Christian in this one.
A little bit better than Providence, I'm afraid, so Athens Christian by 4.
By 4.
4 points or touchdowns?
4 points.
Oh, Athens Christian.
Athens Christian by 3.
Wow.
Well, Athens Christian by George.
Wow. By 3. Oh, my goodness. And tonight, it is in Washington Wilkes. If you are on your way, come on. If you're not, get in the car and head this way. Elbert County takes on Washington Wilkes over there. Stuart York, one of the best PA press box booths that you've ever been in. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Stu, the forecast,
They even
by
have
the
a
way,
sauna.
is not for as hot
Oh.
tonight.
That's
Yeah.
good.
May
That's
survive
good.
this thing.
That is good.
Because if you want to lose 10 or 15 pounds in about 3 hours, all you got to do
He
is
calls
go
it
to
a
their
sauna.
press box, and you will have accomplished your feat. But, on the other hand, coming off of open week we needed desperately. 3 physical games. It's not going to be any different in Washington. So we got to strap it up. I'm sure we got all the bumps and bruises healed, but Washington Wilkes is going to be tough, just like they always are. But they're going to have a tough time with their offense, too.
And, hey, a look at the weather, the high 86, the low 61 for tonight. So, for today, rather.
The key thing is Washington Wilkes has not played a strong opponent. They haven't. And so this is going to be their really first big test, which is an advantage for Elbert County.
Yeah.
Now, Washington's going to get after you, and they've got some good skilled people, and they always, a good Washington team is always going to get after you.
Well, you told me you were going to the game.
I am.
You said you were going to one last week. I thought to GMC, and you thought that it was going to be a wipeout for Washington Wilkes, but they just barely slipped. They slipped by 14-7.
14-2. 14-2. It was one of those. Look, it was one of those games to where the kids know you're going to win, and all of a sudden you go out there and the other team, you hadn't quite told them what they're supposed to do, and they're playing their tails off. So, still, Washington Wilkes is going to play hard. Good. Turnovers. If the Blue Devils go down there and turn it over, Wilkes has got some skilled people, and they can hurt you. So it ought to be a typical Washington Wilkes. Washington Wilkes is number 6 in Division II, and we're number 10 in Division I in Class A. So
it'll be a game.
It'll be a
good game.
Good game.
So far this season, Elbert County, even if you go back to the preseason, numbers, nearly every team Elbert County's played this year had been ranked already, and that's a great schedule for Coach. Y'all, we haven't, Coach Fritz, let's say it. Coach Fritz is a great football coach. He is an experienced veteran coach. We owe Coach Fritz for helping us be as good as we were, and we owe him now because we hadn't beat him. And it's going to be tough with Coach Fritz, and it's going to be tough down there with the history of Washington Wilkes. I was just looking at some stuff, and the history of Washington Wilkes is really spectacular. If you go through history and how many wins they've got in the program. I know that doesn't matter Friday night, but the fact is Washington Wilkes will not forget 95. They're not going to, and they're going to be ready, and they get up. And, Stu, if you remember last time we were there, and I know you do because you were pouring water on your head.
Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. That game was probably more going on in between snaps than a Hart County, Elbert County game. Now, maybe that was that time. Something tells me this could be a whole lot like this again. We kind of lost our composure down there the last time we were there. And I know Coach Jarvis was not happy about it all, but that was a get-after-it kind of rivalry game. And I look for that again this week.
And it is tonight. Make your way to Washington Wilkes, and let's cheer on our Blue Devils in another great game. And you can listen live right here at WSGC Radio. If you do not yet have the app, go to your app store, whether it's iPhone or Android, and download WSGC Radio, and you can listen live to Marvin and Stewart as they bring you all the action. And that is coming up, and right now it's halftime. Right here on your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot, Grocery Store, Hickenbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevrolet, Piedmont Propane Service, Pick'em Show. Coming up, your third quarter, right after this. And we are back with your third quarter after a great halftime meal. Man, that was some good food. You guys, when y'all are grilling and chilling, there's...
Stan.
Yes, sir.
Since you
Yes.
talking about food and everything, do you ever watch the show Carnival Eats on TV?
Coach, I know a lot about eating, but I have never heard of this.
You've never watched? There's a program. You know.
Food Network, I guess?
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
the dinners, drive-in and
Yes,
dive.
I do know that one.
He started all that. Well, this guy on Carnival Eats goes to different carnies.
Everything is fried.
Yeah, I mean, different carnivals around fairs around the country, And
If this thing was on video
And-
right now, Stuart York has a priceless look on his
His
face.
ears probably.
I
hurt.
just thought
Was it
about
your
it.
ears or the topic?
If
Your-
Stan can put a cake
Sure.
on Facebook,
Yes. Fry that
and
bad
go
boy.
yum yum or whatever,
Fry-
he can watch Carnival Eats. Maybe you don't need to watch Carnival
What
Eats.
are they
Stan.
frying though? What are they?
Anything that moves,
Chocolate.
small children, anything that walks by.
Chocolate covered pork ears.
Yeah, I mean everything.
Have y'all ever seen a fried Snickers bar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what they're doing?
Oh, that's
that's
old school.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of this, Broughton? Have you ever heard of a fried Snickers bar?
I have.
Yeah.
I've had one.
I've seen fair. They fry Oreos. They fry. I've been to a
Uh,
fair.
in Texas, the one of them was they fry butter.
Stuart has literally.
That's the truth. Fried butter. They'll take a stick of butter and
Oh,
coat it in
somebody
something,
get a
drop it on-
camera out here,
Oh.
please.
I think I'm crying.
Say it, Stu.
You're loud, Charlie.
That ain't the first time I've been told that.
That's what she said. That was like.
Now Chuck's gonna go into his Barry White
Thank you very much.
rendition. See?
Thank you.
But I have been to Fair Foods, and I do know they fry a lot of stuff.
Well, you'll
And so-
enjoy Carnival Eats because they
I will look at that.
fry ice cream. It's
I'll look at
You
Food
know,
Network. and see.
wait a minute.
What
I-
can you get at a concession stand tonight at the
Yeah,
football game?
Look,
Yeah.
all I ever get on here is talking about basketball in off season, okay?
Yeah.
Like our defending state champion girls basketball team. But let me tell you something. The fair is not here, and how are we on the fair now
I was just
already?
thinking that. We're not even there yet.
And I won't say what I call it, but let's do it, y'all. Let's
Hey,
do
it's
it.
coming up in a few weeks. The fair. And then basketball comes up right after that.
Are we on air?
I know it. That's
Nobody's listening though.
Actually, we have tons of listeners right now. Hey, last week we were not on because it was an off week, a bye week, and phone calls were wanting, hey, where's the Pick'em Show? There were messages, where's the Pick'em Show? People calling, where's the Pick'em Show?
Well, we deserve a week off to
But that was
get
Chuck.
back in shape.
Yeah.
Chuck was calling you.
Chuck was saying,
I wanted to know. I kept looking for
I've
it.
been
I
here
couldn't-
since 9.
I
Where
couldn't
are you?
find it.
Yeah, where are you? Well, hey, it is your third quarter of your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Hickenbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevrolet, Piedmont Propane Service Pick'em Show. And here the third quarter, we go to college games. And right now, let's go ahead and kick it off with Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. Marvin.
bump, bump,
Keep
bump,
on
bump,
telling
bump, bump,
keep on telling Martin Bagwell that I'm gonna take the Yellow Jackets, so he's gonna have to wait a few more weeks. Ole Miss.
Okay.
I don't know when we're going to be able to pick them, actually. Marvin, you're just being nice. Because
It sure is.
you know
I
you're not.
try. I try to be nice.
You know
Stuart,
you're
I
not
really
going to
do.
pick the engineers not one time this year.
Um,
But because I'm not going to be ugly, I'm going to take Ole Miss.
Well, they don't call him the Rambling Wreck for nothing. it's going to be the University of Mississippi.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hotty toddy. Ole Miss, big.
Wow.
Oh, Jeffrey's going. His seat's a little warm.
I'm proud of
Yeah.
myself because when you mentioned Georgia Tech, I didn't even say varsity. Right across the street. Didn't even say it.
Boy, that would be so good tonight.
Come on, chili dog.
Is there
I
any
don't
way
know
we
that
could
you
get
would
some
call
chili?
I-75, 85 interstate street, but you know.
Across.
Stan, could you have us some varsity chili dogs to go for the Washington Wilkes games, making that trip down there? Is there any way
Well,
that can happen?
I'll see if I can make it happen. Y'all want 2 apiece or what?
Oh,
Mhm.
don't hold back.
I'd have to go to Atlanta to pick them up
You would.
until the one in Athens
You
opens.
would.
The new one. Hey, the next college game, it's Miami at Texas A&M.
The headline, I love it. The headline I saw after this ball game was, so that's what $28 million gets you
Ooh.
for Texas A&M. And that's probably not completely fair, but it is completely funny to me.
Mm.
Texas A&M and Miami, battle of the NILs. I don't know what to go with this. This is like picking Cedar Shows over.
Well, if that's the
Buford.
case, then
What do you do?
we don't pick Cedar Shoals under any circumstances.
How in the world will I pick Texas A&M in this game the way I bash them?
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Who's beating on something?
That's Marvin.
I have no idea.
He doesn't have headphones.
Somebody encourage me.
Texas
Stan,
A&M.
would you
Texas-
please verify that?
Texas
on
A&M.
my
Let's
pick?
see here.
What-
You have a
what's
question
my
mark.
pick?
You have a question. Don't worry about
What
that.
in
You have a
the
question
world?
mark.
It's
We'll get
Okay.
it later.
Uh,
I say Texas A&M.
look, I'm just.
28 million.
I don't trust Miami. Hadn't ever trusted them. But they beat Texas A&M right here.
Ooh.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
I'm taking Texas A&M
Did you say Miami?
because if they don't win, what in the world is going to happen at College Station?
They're going to have to pay $49 million to their coach.
Mm.
Of course, that's half their recruiting budget, so they can do that.
Stuart, you and A&M,
Yep.
I think I'm going to fall. I told a story earlier in here during between quarters, and it was talking about that they paid Jimbo $800,000 a game, and they paid App State $1.5 million to come and play. So one fan on a tweet on a message said we have paid App State $2.3 million to get our tails handed to us on a platter. What I'm wondering about with Texas A&M, if they said that it was so close with the quarterback, competition going in, and they've got the Garrett King. I'm thinking that they may pull out. Is it Max Johnson?
yeah.
The other
Oconee County.
quarterback said that if it was that close and King hasn't done much, that you need to switch quarterbacks. And I'm thinking that that's what they're going to do, and I'm going with A&M.
Marvin.
In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Miami's pretty good. Miami's going to be ready to go, and A&M, there's a frustration out there, and they're having a problem offensively. They really are. And I understand this just for the sake of playing ball and everything. In an upset, Miami goes to A&M, and the talk of next week
Will be you can go outside and see the smoke from Texas.
That's exactly right. It'll be A&M burning.
I had this one blank, and I wasn't sure what I was going to pick because it could have gone either way. And I fell with Stewart.
Hey, Marvin, now watch Jimbo do his best coaching
Oh,
job
yeah,
all week
yeah,
long.
they'll
And they beat them 45-8.
Hey, and if they do, you will not be able to understand a single word from Jimbo from the press conference because he'll be talking 120 words a minute.
And they have to do that. A&M has to win this football game, but sometimes when you have to win, one thing I remember one of the coaches saying about NIL, it can destroy a locker room. It can completely destroy a locker room because one guy's getting $4.5 million and the other guy, he's just, he's got the stipend fund. That's all he's got. And he's the guy blocking for the guy getting the 1 point or the 4 point. And it disrupts things. And I wonder about that. If that could be an issue with those guys over there,
Maybe.
and
I'm
other
looking forward to
teams in college football. But now look, Miami's working that thing pretty good themselves. So we'll see.
We shall see. We shall see. Hey, Penn State is at Auburn. Marvin.
Bobby, these games
I didn't
these
schedule.
are great ball games.
They are.
These are the perfect games to mess up somebody that knows how to do this. Actually,
Well, obviously I don't. I'm in last place.
if he's got enough time and enough information. But the things concerning here is taking a bunch of teams that aren't playing at home, and that's what I'm doing. It looks like Penn State over Auburn at Auburn. That's my concern. It's at Auburn, but Penn State.
Stewart.
I just can't get my arms around Auburn.
No,
I was.
can't either.
I'm gonna take Penn State too, just because Auburn hadn't showed me anything. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that hadn't showed me anything, except for App State. They have shown me something.
Well, I thought this would be an opportunity that I may pick the one to catch up with Marvin, because I'm picking Penn State as well. And when you were talking about the games this week, I was looking from an NCAA website, and they were saying games to keep an eye on. And they had Miami, Texas A&M. They had BYU and Oregon. And they said you may also want to watch Penn State and Auburn. So these were good picks, and because they're nationally recognized as games that are going to be good. But
It's about the
I'm
only
thinking that-
good ones this week.
Yeah.
but
Hey, for Coach now, Coach didn't have all that information when he made these things
No,
out early.
no.
He's just sharp about that, I guess.
I mean, y'all have really no idea how intelligent he is.
You're right.
Stuart, that is maybe the nicest thing you ever said about me.
Not.
I just wish.
Wow.
I wish he hadn't been laughing while he was saying it.
Boys,
That's right.
Boys, here's the key thing. Penn State has rode that horseshoe just about as long as they can. I know Auburn's not great, but the War Eagle Nation's going to get pumped up this week. And there's going to be, Auburn should have beat Penn State at Penn State last year, and I know that's last year. Brian Harsin needs, if Auburn loses, then the whole Brian Harsin thing keeps going, ramping up.
Yep.
He needs a break. Auburn upsets Penn State Saturday in Auburn.
Give us a score on that one, Coach.
Oh, okay. Auburn 28 and Penn State 24. 28-24
Wow.
Auburn.
Wow. And there you have it.
Go SEC. That's all I can say to that.
And that wraps up our third quarter of your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Hickenbotham. Was that the third quarter? Yes. The Bulldog, no, Tri-County Chevrolet, Piedmont Propane Service, Pick'em Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the fourth quarter of your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Hickenbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevrolet, Piedmont Propane Service. Broughton, you got to come up with it. You got to yes, thank you, sir. Piedmont Propane Services, Pick'em Show. And this is it. This is your fourth quarter. More college picks right now.
Hey, our intern behind the glass window, you
Yes.
got to get with the program.
You got to
gotta get
learn
with the
You
program.
got to learn the lingo, dude.
That's right.
You know the standard.
Got to have the hand signals.
Yes.
that Queen Webb, our Webb
Madison. Yes.
great. She set a
She
high
set a
standard
level.
for that job.
Yes.
I'm just saying that.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
She set a very high standard.
Okay. All right.
Here's the toughest part. Broughton on Wednesdays, you know when we prep for the show for Friday night on Wednesdays, we're prepping for it. He's not here on Wednesdays, so he's just here today because we did it on
Well,
Friday.
I'm glad he's here.
Sounds like you're taking up for him.
He's got a lot of talent. I can say that for him.
Busy dude. He was at the Georgia game working it last week. And how did that go for you, Broughton?
It was good. It was very busy.
Was it?
It was
Tell
very-
us what you were doing.
I was at the Papa John stand that was near the front gate
Doing concessions.
doing concessions, and I looked over about 6 or 7 kids, and I was like their boss for the however many hours we were there.
Because you're commander of JROTC.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Yeah, there you go. Well, thank y'all for
Wow.
what y'all did for the. Did y'all know that they did
He
this?
is. Boy, that's
And
pretty
did you
impressive.
know Elbert County goes to every Saturday or just occasional?
It's now we used to only do occasional, but now I think we do every every home football
Yeah.
game.
Cool. Thank you for what y'all do. And if you are in the concessions, look for our local Elbert County JROTC and enjoy some good old food and beverages. Your coldest beverage. Stuart. And let's kick it off with our fourth quarter. With the more
Please.
college games. Here's Texas Tech at North Carolina State. Marvin.
Yep. It's at North Carolina State, and they got the defense, and they got the point spread. I did see that, if I saw nothing else. I think this is going to be close, but I think NC State comes out on top on this one.
NC State's supposed to come out on top. But will they after last week? Who knows? But I'm still taking the Wolfpack.
Well, if you remember last year, I picked Texas Tech against Texas and got slaughtered at like 77-14. I think Texas Tech is going to win, but I'm not going to pick them.
Come on, Chuck.
It's.
Am I the only one that is scared?
Well, your record speaks for itself.
That's what I'm saying. Am I the only one that's scared? I'll go against the flow a little
There's
bit.
a reason you're in 4th place.
I know it's because I'm not scared.
Well, you know that intelligent mark I made a while ago? That was really...
Oh,
That was an honorary degree that you gave me.
That was a participation.
Well,
that was
yeah,
a
you just got a
participation.
participation.
Yeah, I got a
Participation
I got the
compliment.
coach's plaque.
Too
Well,
good, y'all. That's
I
too
keep, I
good.
keep saying that you don't be scared to pick the underdog and everything, but I'm not going to pick Texas Tech.
No pistols up.
No, sir. The Wolfpack all the way.
all right.
Y'all, I do think that this game could be an upset, though. No joke.
Hey,
All of them could be.
I
Yeah.
think-
Oh, yeah. After last week,
But
you know,
Texas Tech, though, really had that overtime win against Houston was big.
yeah, that was a big game
Yeah.
for them. And hey, look, let's give our guys from down in South Georgia. How about that Georgia Southern going up there and taking it to Nebraska?
$1.43 million.
Change the coaching
sir.
situation, didn't
Yeah.
Southern?
Yeah, that was.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I didn't. With the Texas Tech is my Cedar Shoals.
Now,
Can't
hey,
take 'em.
Bobby, did Helton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Did he is Southern running a different offense now? Or
Yes.
Oh, they
Yes.
are. So they went
Yeah.
up there with a.
They're
Not
running,
option.
conventional like
Wow.
everybody else spread. As a
Wow.
matter of fact, when I watched a little bit of the video, I didn't recognize Georgia Southern. They had on blue pants with GATA on the side.
Well, we know what that is.
There's been coaches fired at Georgia Southern for changing the uniform.
Wow.
Things they are changing.
And speaking of changing, I think Oregon, did they drop a good bit? And I was trying to look that up in the rankings. Do y'all know?
Yeah.
Like 25?
They're back to 25 with the
25.
win. Yeah,
Yeah.
they beat Northwest Whitfield or somebody.
And speaking of,
70-12 or something.
so it's BYU.
Oh, it was Eastern Washington.
Yeah, well, see?
Yeah.
That was where that dude a couple of years ago had all the passing records, though, that went to North Carolina State. He was under Leach. The quarterback that was under
Yeah.
Leach at that time.
Oh, is that right?
He transferred.
And BYU is at Oregon. Marvin Denny.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I contend this. Oregon played last week, and Bobby's 1,000% right who they played, and then they went out and did what you do when you play a team like that. You throw 70 on them. Okay, so all we've got to go on Oregon is Oregon. And Georgia may have played about as good as Georgia can play against Oregon. I'm going to stick with Oregon in this game. I think Oregon is going to win at home. And we're going to find out how good Georgia maybe is at some point during this year because they're pretty darn good right now.
Coach Lanning.
I didn't know he had any eligibility, but okay.
I guess that was the call, Stuart.
Yeah.
That was the call.
Okay. Ducks for me, too.
So y'all don't think BYU's any good?
No,
yeah,
I think
they are good. They beat
I
Baylor. They
think-
beat Baylor.
They beat Baylor.
I think BYU's got a really good
Is
football
Baylor
team.
any good?
But if the score in the Georgia
Yeah.
game been a little closer, everybody'd have had them, 17-point underdog instead of 4 or 5. So, and it's at Oregon.
It is. That's the key thing. It's at Duckville. It is at Duckville.
Duckville. I like that coach.
Duckville.
Okay. How?
We got a little separation
we
on the
do.
top.
We got a little separation. I'm going with the Mormons. BYU in an upset of the Ducks.
You put the hat on, didn't you, Bob?
BYU. I did.
And that could be that way. We'll see. That could be tough on Coach Lanning, though.
Yeah.
Our audience and our fans need to have some separation here. And the more I pick, the more separated I get from Marvin and the rest of you guys.
But hey, look, before we get out of here,
The Cincinnati Kid.
Yep.
before we get out of here, I want to throw this in there just about college football and Coach Pittman at Arkansas. And I can remember a couple years back, Arkansas literally was just, I mean, it was non-competitive every game they played.
They didn't win a conference.
Yeah, they didn't win a conference game. And doggone Coach Pittman, if he hadn't got them, ranked number 7 in the country right now. Good job, Coach Pittman. Boy, he is one. Stewart, I'm waiting for you to make your Coach Pittman remark because you know him very well.
He is the man. Always has been. I love Sambo.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago when he was hired, though, it was one of the surprise hires, even in his house, because he said it, he wasn't even the offensive coordinator at Georgia.
That's what they said was the unusual thing about his hire is that
He was
you're a
just
line coach, not just a position coach, not a
He
coordinator.
actually apologized to me for going to Arkansas. But he said, Stewart,
They love
my
Georgia
wife's
now.
from there.
but-
I coached there. That's where, I said, look, brother, you go do what you got to do.
He's got all
We
the
just-
millions now. He doesn't have to.
We're just glad you came hang out with us as long as you could.
And guess
Boy,
what? His name surfaced this morning
Nebraska.
for the Nebraska job.
He's
I'll
not.
tell you
I'm
what.
not
He ain't
going
going to
He ain't
Nebraska.
going
No.
nowhere.
No.
Those kids play
He's
so hard for Coach
He ain't
Pittman.
going
It
nowhere.
is
Well, first of
incredible to watch.
Why would you want to go to Nebraska?
Corn.
Hey, Stu. Hey,
Little country boy.
what about Texas A&M job?
He's not going to leave Arkansas. Move on.
Georgia.
And
there.
Georgia takes on
And
South
South Carolina.
Carolina. Let's have some chicken, y'all.
You can't find any in
It's,
Columbia.
it's hard to find chicken sometimes in Columbia.
I
All
hate,
right,
I hate it being in
this
Carolina. That's
This
for
is
sure.
tough. Noon kickoff in Columbia. Georgia was not of course not inspired against Samford, and they did what they had to do and all that kind of stuff. But if Georgia plays like they're capable of, I don't know how good South Carolina is defensively. That's the key thing. I think they're pretty good offensively, but I don't know how defensively good they are.
It shouldn't be, but who knows anymore. I think
Yeah.
last week's games, especially those two, all the head coaches are using that this week for sure. You don't come in lollygag.
Right.
You'll get sent to the
Right.
house.
Well, Kirby ranked them pretty good for the practices last week. They had, I think, first practice of the week said best practice they've had all year. Then on the next day said it was the worst. So they did not have good practices last week. So I think he'll be on them.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Kentucky's leading the conference right now, so this is a conference game, so that means something.
And I will guarantee you better keep your eye on Kentucky because if you just look at their schedule, and you'll understand why I say that. They should be sitting there waiting for a game in Lexington. This will be the biggest game in the history of football in Kentucky. But this game this week, and I know it's a long time ago, but I don't get over stuff like this quick, and even if it takes 30 years. We have won the SEC and lost in Columbia before.
Mm-hmm.
We sure have. Absolutely have. And this will kind of be their first away game when you think about it. Georgia, I'm at the Mercedes-Benz was not an away game for Georgia in that game. But I agree with what Bobby said. I think this is a game. Georgia cruised last week. There is no doubt about that. They just kind of went through the motions. And hopefully that'll give them something to get after it hard this week. Because they need to get after hard. They can't drop a game. They can't drop a football game. Florida, everybody figured Florida would get that win down there in Gainesville. Didn't happen. So this is every game Georgia plays that's a conference game is big. And this is big.
And it is 12 o'clock tomorrow, Georgia. And tonight it is Elbert County taking on Washington Wilkes. And it's all live here, and it's all coming up next as we conclude your Napa Auto Parts, R&B Maintenance, Heating and Air Conditioning, Save-A-Lot Grocery Store, Hickenbotham Paint and Body, Tri-County Chevrolet, Piedmont Propane Service, Pick'em Show. Stay tuned. It is shout-out time coming up next right here live from Wilkes County as Elbert County is playing football. Y'all come on out, cheer on our Blue Devils tonight.
Yes, games next week.